Welcome back to Chapter 3 of our series, Think Better, Mental Models for Smart Decisions. In this episode titled, Inversion, Solve Problems Backwards, we're going to explore an intriguing approach to problem solving that flips conventional thinking on its head. Get ready to discover how inversion thinking can help you tackle challenges with a fresh perspective. Let's dive in. A team presents a flawless project plan, on paper. 6 months later, the launch quietly fails for reasons no one predicted. Here's the twist. Another team started by asking, how could this go terribly wrong? Same goal, same resources, completely different outcome. The teams didn't just differ in optimism, they were using opposite mental lenses. Most of us default to forward planning. Start from where we are, stack tasks, push toward the goal. Inversion flips that script. It asks, start at the end. What must be true or false for this to work? Instead of adding steps, you strip away illusions. Amazon bakes this into its culture with a ritual. Before anyone writes a single line of code, they draft an internal press release describing the finished product, the customer reaction, and why it matters. It's a forced glimpse of the destination. Google does something similar from the opposite angle. Its site reliability engineering teams predefine how much failure is acceptable, then work backward to shape release pace and safeguards. Inversion isn't about being negative. It's deliberate, constructive pessimism in service of better outcomes. Inversion shines where overconfidence quietly sabotages us. Complex projects, career moves, even personal habits that should be simple but somehow never stick. It's most useful exactly when you feel least inclined to use it. When the slide deck looks clean, the timeline feels generous, the risks seem manageable. Think of a surgeon mentally rehearsing everything that could complicate an operation before touching a scalpel. They're not doubting their skill, they're clearing cognitive fog. You're doing the same for decisions, plans, and trade-offs you'd otherwise treat too casually. Inversion has two main moves. Start from success and work backward, or start from failure and work backward. Both expose constraints that forward motion conveniently glosses over. The from success version asks, assume this worked beautifully. What had to be true? You list conditions that must already exist: skills, trust, data, decisions, timing. When Amazon drafts that pseudo press release, teams implicitly surface these hidden prerequisites: who the product serves, what problem it solves, what trade-offs they're willing to make. Once those are explicit, you can sanity check them. Which conditions don't exist yet? Which clash with each other? Which rely on luck? The from failure version flips the polarity. Assume this failed embarrassingly. What almost certainly went wrong? This is where pre-mortems earn their keep. The HBR study you saw isn't magic. It's just that people finally have permission to name the risks they already sense. Social pressure makes us understate doubts in a normal planning meeting. A pre-mortem reverses the social script. Now you're odd if you don't find something that broke. In practice, inversion works best when you concretize 3 things. 1. Time frame. Looking back 6 months after launch. 2. Perspective. As a skeptical outsider, not a hopeful insider. 3. Asymmetry. What would I regret not having checked or prevented? This asymmetry is crucial. In many decisions, the pain of a downside is far larger than the joy of a slightly better upside. Inversion helps you see those lopsided payoffs before they blindside you. Notice how this differs from simple worry. Vague anxiety loops. Inversion demands specifics, particular stakeholders, particular numbers, particular steps that would have to fail. Once those are spelled out, you can rank them by likelihood and impact, then either address, accept, or deliberately ignore them. Used well, inversion becomes a quick mental audit. Before committing, you pause and ask, if this turns out to be a bad call, what will I wish I had thought about today? Then you force yourself to actually think about it now, while you can still change the script. Consider a personal example. You're choosing between 2 job offers that look equally good. Instead of comparing perks, you jump ahead. It's 18 months later and I regret this choice. What's bothering me? Maybe you see a picture of yourself stuck doing repetitive work, or commuting 2 hours a day, or reporting to a manager who ignores your ideas. Those images point to concrete questions you're not asking yet, about role evolution, remote options, decision-making norms. Or take habits. Say you want to get in shape this year. Rather than drafting an ideal workout schedule, you ask, by December, how did this fall apart? Answers might include, travel broke the routine. You got bored. Minor injuries derailed you. Each imagined failure suggests a preemptive tweak. Pick hotel room workouts, rotate activities, plan deload weeks. This is the quiet power of working backward. You surface hidden trade-offs before they harden into reality, while the cost of changing course is still low. Leaders who practice inversion daily start treating uncertainty less like a threat and more like a design material. They'll sketch policies by first asking, how could this be abused? And hiring plans by asking, who does this unintentionally exclude? In personal life, you can invert big choices too. Choose a city by listing deal breakers, or design a career by mapping roles you'd hate. As systems grow more tangled, those who can routinely walk decisions backward will quietly steer them. When you start thinking this way, even small choices shift. You might design a meeting by first asking how it could waste everyone's energy, or plan a week by first spotting where burnout would creep in. Like a chef tasting as they cook, you're not courting disaster. You're sampling possible futures early enough to season them differently. Before next week, ask yourself, if my goal completely failed this year, what are the 3 most likely reasons it would have gone wrong? And which of those am I already seeing signs of today? Then consider, if my day were designed to guarantee failure on this goal, what would it look like in detail? Habits, people, tools, timing, and where does my current routine accidentally match that failure design? Finally, ask, what is one how-to-fail behavior I can remove or reduce this week? For example, late-night scrolling, vague to-do lists, saying yes to everything, that would, by subtraction alone, make success more likely. This was Owl Up, your daily step forward. This series continues with more chapters on owlup.co. Visit owlup.co to access the complete course and continue your learning journey. See you there!